We had a bit of smash mouth football Monday night in Buffalo. New England Patriots able to continue their run through the AFC and literally did that against the Bills defense. With the weather not playing any favors for either side, rookie quarterback Mac Jones only attempted 3 passes, completing 2. New England went to the ground game and didn't turn back. Rushed for 222 against Buffalo. Taking a look at the numbers, week 1 through 12, when you talk about that run defense for the Bills, just under 100 yards per game, but week 13, a totally different story with the Patriots in town at home. And you talk about that AFC East crown, may not be a thing now after taking that L and taking a punch to the mouth there with that run game against the Patriots. All right, time to welcome in Hall of Famer Ray Lewis to kind of put a bow on this and make sense of what happened for the Patriots. I don't know if we can do that, but listen, if you're Buffalo here, you got punched in the mouth. I think you look past it.
Yeah.
And when you look past it, you got the defending champs. You got to go to Tampa. Leonard Fournette is on the other side.
Yeah.
If you're Lenny, playoff Lenny, by the way, at this time of year, last year, he was starting to heat up.
Yeah.
If you're looking at that tape against the Bills, you're thinking like, you know what? We might have some opportunities here.
B, listen, you know it's one thing you cannot do in this league is open up a can. once you open up that can of what they opened up, everybody is going to run the ball on the Buffalo Bills, right? But you got to think about this, right? And this is where I think the genius of Bill Belichick really kicks in, right? Because not on the Patriots, but we're just talking about the mentality, right? I-back formation. I don't know too many offenses in the National Football League getting the I-backs formation, but there are no linebackers. The only linebackers that's 250 or more is probably the Saints and the Patriots. That's it. Everybody else is swimming blocks, trying to get around blocks. Nobody's coming downhill and taking those combo blocks. But let me tell you what happens this week. Leonard Fournette, I truly believe this, right? That pickup for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was probably the biggest pickup, not overriding Tom Brady, but I'm talking about from mentality-wise.
Agree.
What this guy does for this football team, he's a difference maker. Now you ask the Buffalo Bills, how do you stop that? Because you're playing a chess player in Tom Brady this week. He will check the ball down, not only check it down, but I'm willing to go out on a limb and say they'll probably touch the ball 25, 30 times between those two backs, right, him and Randall Jones. This is the mentality that the Bucs have anyway. What the Bills have to figure out is how to change their scheme, which you saw the other night against the Patriots. Nothing changed. You're like, wait a minute. If I'm playing defense out there, I'm like, listen, guys, they're running the ball downhill. We got to change something. So I'm telling you, this week, the Bucs against the Bills defense, Tom Brady, the master at what he does, he's going to check the run every time he thinks about seeing a cover 2 defense. And if he sees a cover 2 defense and anybody roll to a cover 3, he's going to throw it. So I think the Bills have their hands full this week.
You mentioned, of course, they have their hands full. We look at the AFC the way it is, the log jam.
Yeah.
The Patriots, of course, in the top. Then you got a bunch of teams with 8 wins, 7. That's where you find Buffalo. If you're looking at this, you're McDermott. I mean, they're almost like a shell of themselves last year. They're not the same team.
They're not.
Is this a must-win situation for them on the road?
It's not only a must-win, they must change how they're perceived, right? Anybody that runs the ball 45 times on you, if you're any other team in the locker room, you're saying, man, hit them in the mouth. Make them respond. And when you talk about late December, early January football, that's old school football. The Bills have to bounce back from a mentality standpoint before they think about a record, right? Because going down there and play the defending champs, I mean, you're in for something. Look at this playoff picture.
Like I mentioned, we mentioned the log jam of 8 wins, the Titans, Ravens, Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs have been jumping back up there. The Chargers, the Bengals are still relevant. We'll talk about them a little bit later. And of course, your Birds as well still hanging in there. So the AFC is just so compact with, I want to say, good teams. Nobody's really been great except for the Patriots.
It's really good teams, and what makes this really intriguing is that 1 week bye, only for one team, right? If you're Raven fans, when we didn't convert that 2-point conversion, I'm like, no. I'm like, it's not just losing a game. We gave up home field advantage. We gave up the first round. And I think, honestly, when you look at 3 teams at 8-4, 3 other teams at 7-5, and there's nobody that's just stood out. But the one team that I'm telling you, you got to be scary for is the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they're starting to pick up steam, and it ain't on offense. which is even scarier, right? Because it's always, oh, they can score this many points. But when their defense, with Melvin Ingram and what he's starting to do, and Jones, it can be scary in Kansas City if you let them sneak up and get this first round bye.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.